but you didn't answer my question about the face. अगर आपकी centrality एक face पे, you build a narrative around a face.
Now, this is one of the two biggest mistakes being pushed by quote unquote those who are wanting to see a strong opposition. Two biggest mistake I see on day in and day out is one, that where is the face? That so long we don't have a face, we would not be able to defeat Mr. Modi and BJP. And second, that all parties and leaders have to come together. Both these assumptions are big farce. See, you can build a narrative that will throw a face. You cannot wait for a face to emerge and then start working. We have seen the Modi government thrice on three major issues. The land acquisition bill, right at the beginning of his tenure.
The farm laws.
Then the farm laws, and before this the CA and RC. On these three issues, we have seen pan-India resistance, agitation against the sitting government, and with all their might, their ability to control media and communication at large, they were put on the back foot. With all our wisdom and understanding, can we pinpoint a single face in any one of these three campaigns who can be credited that this individual was the one who actually led this? No. So sometimes narratives and the campaigns on the grassroots could be so powerful that that is good enough for you to at least start or mount a campaign against.
None of the three movements that you talk about have necessarily resulted in an electoral change. Or
that's what I say. To win elections, you need the four elements. You need to have a powerful message,
yes,
what you call narrative.
Yes.
You need to have a messenger who is carrying that message. You need the machinery, the party, the political parties. And then you need the mechanics, which is the actual campaign that happens on the ground. You need to have these four M's, what I call the message, messenger, machinery, and mechanics. If you get these four together, even if you get three right, you are more likely to have...
So let's go through these. What do you want the message to be for 2024, and who is the messenger? The machinery, the mechanics you will look after. What is the message and who's the messenger?
So, narrative is something that opposition parties and leaders have to work together, that what is that counter narrative? That to build a counter narrative that could be successful against this government, you have to first realize and accept that what is it which is working for this government and Mr. Modi.
What is it?
I think the combination of these three things, Hindutva, nationalism, and household and grassroots level welfareism. Put these three together, they are able to, by and large, capture the imagination of vast majority of Indians, where many individuals, even if they are at discomfort or at at the wrong side of the improvement in quality of their life, still they are willing to give benefit of doubt and still continue to support this government because, oh, this government or this party is for the Hindus. There are some who would say, I'm doing it, I'm paying 100 rupees diesel price because a new India is being built. That's nationalism part. And this individual and household level delivery of services, whether it is Kisan Nidhi के 2,000-6,000 रुपए है, या टॉयलेट बना दिया, या उज्ज्वला मिला है, कि चलो देश में कुछ भी हो रहा है, आप कितना भी उसको बता रहे हैं इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ रहा है, कितना भी आप बता रहे हैं बेरोजगारी बढ़ रही है, वो कह रहे भाई कुछ भी हो, हमारे यहाँ तो सिलेंडर आ गया, हमारे यहाँ टॉयलेट बन गया, हमें तो 6,000 रुपए मिल रहा है. We have to first examine and assess and take cognizance of what is working for BJP. Then only we can put a counter narrative. The problem is we are not
acknowledging what's working.
So it's like in any walk of life, if you want to take somebody head on, you have to first understand that person. You have to understand what is it which is making them so powerful. Then only we can put a counter. Always people are asking, what is the counter? What is the counter? But first you have to understand. So to my mind, unless you have a counter to this Hindutva, which is quite possible, unless you have a counter to this new self-proclaimed hyper-nationalism and agenda which BJP is appropriating 100%, and this welfareism. So take for example one by one Hindutva. So a lot of people are saying, can we can counter it by getting into this debate of Hindutva versus Hinduism versus, it's futile exercise. Look at hard data. if you look at last 20, 30 years elections, you have to see that with Hindutva working at its peak, what we call polarized setting, what it does to Hindu communities in terms of their voting preference, you would realize that in no circumstances, in no incident till date in India, more than 50-55% Hindus vote, no matter how polarized the atmosphere was.
Yeah.
What does it tell you? For every Hindu, quote unquote, who is mesmerized and has won over by this Hindutva ideology or Hindutva debate, there is one who is not willing to buy that argument. It is the propaganda of the BJP that makes you believe, you and me, that there is no Hindu left who is not convinced with this Hindutva narrative. So we have to understand and then work on those who are not convinced with this model of Hindutva. Similarly on nationalism. Now the party that has been credited and that should rightly be credited for the freedom of this country is being pushed on the back foot and being called anti-national by somebody who, by set of people whose credentials in and contribution in freedom struggle is questionable on many counts. Look at how BJP has hijacked this whole thing, that we are the one who represent national interest.
Yeah.
And similarly on welfareism, the left of center ideologues have to come out with a better proposition. Congress tried its hand by talking about, say, Nyay. But probably that was not well articulated. It was not taken to the masses in the manner in which it could and should have been taken. You have to present a counter welfareism model which says कि भैया जो आपको सिलेंडर या शौचालय या 6,000 रुपए मिल रहा है, अगर हमारी सरकार होगी तो हम आपको इससे बेहतर क्या कर सकते हैं, and that should look reliable.
Yeah.
It should not be just a fancy promise.
But what is your relationship with the Prime Minister now? And what
I have got no, first of all,
no relationship.
I have no relationship because who am I to have a relationship with Prime Minister of this country?
You're somebody who
has worked with him.
Yes.
Somebody who has worked with him in the past. I have no direct, day-to-day engagement with him in any manner. So he's there. He's a Prime Minister. Like he's your Prime Minister. He's my Prime Minister. Nothing beyond that.
As a political thinker and as a politician, what is the one characteristic of Mr. Modi that you think the opposition has still not understood?
His ability to evolve. He evolves every third year or fifth year. You will literally find a new Modi, if not new Modi, at least a new facet of the person or in his personality. And anyone who has studied him, say, in last 15, 20 years, he has this great ability to kind of, in every third year or fifth year, to emerge with a newer, predominant aspect of his personality. And that keeps that
newness
alive.
And what is the one weakness that the opposition could have exploited better and it hasn't?
For all the propaganda and this feeling that BJP is having a complete sway over the voters in India, the fact remains that in east and south of the country, which roughly accounts for about 200 seats, you start from Bihar, go to Bengal, add Odisha, Telangana, Andhra, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, roughly about 200 seats, despite their, all the strength and what they have done, the reality is BJP has been able to win less than 25% seats in these states. And this makes them quite vulnerable in the sense that if a political party or a leader or a political formation were to snatch 100 odd seat in the west and the north India, then this 150 MPs who are non-BJP MPs are literally and are literally sitting redundant could add force and defeat BJP. So yes, BJP has expanded by leaps and bounds, but still in eastern and southern part of India, BJP's electoral success has been quite, I would say, minimal. And if an alternate emerges in west and north, they could be defeated reasonably easily.